Hi everyone, my name is Ehsan, and in this video I'm going to show you how to go from an idea all the way to a paper publication for research purposes. And as you know, this is 31 videos and this is video number 8. So how do we go from an idea to a paper publication? There is a journey here. As you can see here, I'm going to show you a step-by-step how this is done. The first time you have an idea and you want to do a research around that, you have to do a literature review. Go and see if anyone else has done that before. And I showed you in previous videos what are the websites that you can use to do that. And most of the time you will get disappointed because other people also think like you, and they might have this idea before and have done research and published a paper, and you will get disappointed. But yeah, that's just the reality of the doing the research. So then but that's okay. You can adjust it. You can do dig more into that, research and find a way to tweak it and have your own unique idea. Let's say you pass that step and you now know that no one has done this before. Then it's the objectives. Now you should define what do you want to work around that topic. What are your goals from doing this research? And next, you are going to design your study around those objectives that you have defined for yourself. I'm going to explain this a little bit in the later video. Once this is done, the next step in some research is to obtain some approvals. Let's say you need to work on animals, then you need to get some approvals to do that, whether this is necessarily for your research or not. Or you might need access to some patients' data, right? So you need to get approval to have access to those. So that's some of the research, they have to do this. Then you are gonna go ahead and do the experiment that you have designed. And you collect the data and start to analyze them, right? The next step is you are going to start preparing the draft of the manuscript, and then you start to create the figures and tables that I have a separate video on that. And then you are going to start revising and finalizing your manuscript. Then you are going to submit it. You have to find a proper journal to publish your paper. So I have another video on that. And you have to write a cover letter along with your manuscript to submit it, which I have a video on that. And then submit your manuscript, which I have another video on that. And next, it goes through a cycle. When you submit your manuscript, there are many steps behind the scene that you don't usually see, but I'm going to explain it in its own video. And then you have to probably revise or resubmit your paper. And finally, you get accepted. Your paper gets accepted. Good job. And then you get a proofreading and formatting PDF for your paper. And there might be some also copyright forms that you have to sign. And your paper goes online and it becomes available to everyone, right? So this is how you go from an idea all the way to a publication. So this is like the big picture of how this is done, right? So now you know what are the steps involved in doing like a research, right? Now let me talk about the idea part of this process. You might have a novel idea or an original idea, right? And these two might end up to publishing a paper that is a novel paper or an original paper. And what's the difference? You might hear this a lot. That's why I'm going to explain these two terms here. The difference is marginal. It's not very obvious, and some people might think these two are the same, but they are not. The original means no one has done this before, right? But everything is expected. But novel is the same. No one has done that before, but you have found something unexpected and surprising, and no one knew that this is going to exist, right? So this is like kind of a level above the being original, right? So let me tell you an example. Let's say you will do a research on, let's say you find a new musical instrument in, let's say in Iran, we have a musical instrument called sitar, right? So you take that and you do a study, and you will find out that the listening to sitar while studying increases your focus. And you might publish this paper. This is original. No one has done this before. No one knew that musical instrument existed, and you took that and you did that study. But everyone knew that music will increase the efficiency and increase the productivity, increases your focus, right? So that part was expected. So your paper is not novel, it's just original. No one has done this before. You are the first person reporting that, and that's original. But what is novel? Novel means you have done it the first, but there is something unexpected there. Let's say let me tell you about like the vitamins, right? Let's say you found that an apple, or you found a way that you do a manipulation, DNA manipulation on apple, and you increase the level of some specific vitamins into that, or you generate or do something that now the apple has vitamin D. So that is novel. We know that the apple has some vitamins, but no one up to now reported that apple has vitamin D. So this is novel, right? So I hope this makes sense. I try to come with some examples that to explain this. Now let's go back to our own example, right? If you recall from the previous videos, I said, let's say we want to create an apple which is half red, half green. And we will, we came with that idea while we were reading a paper about having two different colors on the same branch, two apples. Now we want to, create it on one apple, right? So this is what we want to do. This is the idea. And now we go and do the literature search, right? That's the second step. Has anyone done this before? So you go and do the research and you find no one has done this. And this is a good thing. Now you go to the next step. What are the objectives of this research? This imaginary example that I had here, what are the objectives for this research? Now, what I want from you is to pause the video and think about it. Think what I can come with to have as objectives for this research. So pause the video, think about it, and then you can unpause. I'm waiting for you to pause the video. All right, now I'm going to show you some objectives. So the objectives might be the health benefit, the taste. Do we know if this new apple can resist against the common pests that we have for, the normal apples? How about the cold resistant? Do we know if we keep this apple in a cold area, they can cultivate it and have it, right? How about the commercialization? Do we know if the cost of making such an apple is better? So this is all the things that we can have for the objective of this project, right? Now, if you go to the chart we had from idea to publication, we are here into the objective section, right? So now you have to design your study, get the approval if needed, and let's say we have done all of these. Now we want to perform the experiments, right? And we do that, and now we have the results. Now I'm going to show you some imaginary results that we have, right? Okay, let's go to the next step. So on the top you see the objectives, and the bottom now you have the results. For the health benefit, we have 4 to 5 milligrams of vitamin D in each apple. I know it sounds funny because we don't have vitamin D in apple, but hey, this is just an imaginary example. We increase the amount of other vitamins in the apple, which is also a good thing. But getting the vitamin D is huge. This is gonna take your paper and your idea from being an original to novel, because no one has done this before, and it's something unexpected, right? And surprising. The next one is the taste. It's a dual taste, dual flavor profile. The red part is sweet and the green part is sour. And about the pest, it attracts more pests, which is a bad thing, right? Compared to the normal and normal apple. The cold resistant, it is resistant up to minus 10 degrees C, which also is a good thing. About making this commercially available, it has a high cost. So it's $50 per apple, which is a lot, right? And the next one, I just put it here, the size variation. You might say, Ehsan, we haven't had that as the objective before. And this is very common. When you design your experiment, you have your objective for the project. When you go and actually do it, you might get some results which you haven't had the objectives for before. And you are going to go back and revise it. And usually the researchers, they are not going to say, oh yeah, we had this from the beginning. From the beginning of this research, we knew that we want to know how the size of this new apple will be different. Okay, this happens. I just put this here to show that there are some results that you haven't had objectives for, but you might circle back and redefine your objectives and have some new one, right? So there is a circle here that happens usually during a research. In this case, I had the size variation, right? Now I could notice, like when I did this, I noticed that the shape of them is uniform compared to apples that, normal apples that might have different shapes. And they are almost like all of them has a diameter of 7 centimeter plus minus 0.1, right? And this is, I know again, sounds funny, but this is just an example just to show you that you might get some unexpected results, and that's normal, right? So here, up to here, I have defined like the results of the objectives, and now you are ready by this time to go and write your paper. And this is what I'm going to show you in the next videos, right? To how to start when you have the results, how to start and actually write the paper. And that would be the topic for the next video. Stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one.